Hi there, and welcome to the NPC Corner, where I ask you, the viewer, to comment on a question I pose about RPG mechanics, discussions, etc. You can comment via, comment, or even make a video response. Today's topic I'll be dealing with is walkthroughs in RPGs. Story time! When I was in the 2nd grade, my parents got me Link's Awakening DX for the Game Boy Color, a game I had wanted for a long time. Needless to say, I played the bejesus out of it, but then I got stuck on the second dungeon, asking the player to kill 3 enemies in a certain order in order to beat the level. The game's only hint was that you had to defeat the imprisoned Pole's voice or something, which I never figured out was that rabbit thing. I kept replaying the game over and over to that point, frustrated at being locked in place and continuing this cycle for 2 years, until it was then I discovered the internet walkthrough. A mystical tool that solved all of my gaming problems with the click of a mouse. I find myself using walkthroughs more often than I'd like to admit though, even to this day. And in my review of the NES RPG, Crystallis, commenter John Benson criticized me for using a walkthrough, saying that I was missing the experience of the adventure, and that's a big part of the game, not knowing what's gonna happen. And indeed, this is a big part of a lot of other games. It is a great point, and it got me thinking, are walkthroughs ultimately detrimental to playing an RPG? Let's talk about the cons first. If you play along with a walkthrough, you're losing a lot of the challenge that comes with surprise bosses with little secrets or tricks to beat them, getting the best items easily to make the game easier, and more. Doesn't that kind of go against the heart of a role-playing game? It's an adventure. It's just you and this wide, unforgiving world. And shouldn't you play it like the developers intended? Without knowing what's on the road ahead? With your own mind? There can also be an issue with spoilers. For instance, I had the big whodunit reveal of Persona 4 revealed accidentally when I was going through the walkthrough. And this spoiler could have made this game even more of a favorite of mine, had I figured it out for myself. But that does bring up the pro side. A lot of us simply don't have time for lengthy RPGs nowadays. Whether it's work, school, or otherwise, completing a 50-hour plus game, especially when following side quests and everything, and the story and the battle mechanics, this isn't even an easy or reasonable thing to ask for. Especially when you get stuck, when you get to a part of the game where you just don't know where to go, or a boss is just wiping the floor with you even after you grind. It can happen in almost any RPG, and wouldn't it just make sense to Google the walkthrough, look it up, and not waste your precious time? We don't live in the Stone Age anymore. Sure, it takes away from the sense of accomplishment somewhat, but is it really worth 5 hours of your life searching for the next destination or experimenting with all your attacks to see what works best? For older RPG gamers, myself included, that could seem a little naive. And how about games like Persona 4 or the Suikoden series, where an average gamer would miss specific conditions needed for the true ending and thus miss the full experience? That's one of the reasons why you should use a walkthrough. It's supposed to save time, it can be really helpful, and sometimes even necessary. Well, anyway, those are my pros and cons, but I made this quick because I want to get to your experiences, your pros and cons. Are walkthroughs something that should be avoided when playing an RPG? Or should we embrace this resource we have? Perhaps there's a compromise that could be found. Leave your comment and or video response below, and have a nice, classy discussion, folks. Until next time, I'll see you on the next NPC Corner.